sometimes as we go through our crazy lives, you could almost imagine, like if you could envision a fun aura around you, just kind of check in with how this aura is doing right now. Sometimes as we go through our crazy lives, sometimes it's almost like static electricity just kind of shooting off to random directions. Maybe there's people that try to steal our energy, and so you can imagine like the energy getting sucked out. And sometimes there's people that frustrate us, so you can kind of imagine how it flares out like crazy. If I, for different pictures that I've seen of the sun, with all those storms that happen all the time right on the surface of the sun, sometimes that's how I imagine that crazy static energy to look like. Just all those storms and there's nothing controllable. It just randomly does its thing. So if there was anything frustrating that's happened in this last week or so, you can imagine that how that affected our energy, this kind of static going off in crazy ways. And so the idea that we're thinking about today in the back of our mind is, what would it be like with our aura, with our energy, if we were to learn how to focus all that crazy energy toward a really good way? So imagine the idea of a magnifying glass. With a magnifying glass, it can take light and focus it so much that it can light a fire. And so imagine that, like, what if we took all of our energy and rather than just letting it be stolen, letting it be sucked out, letting it be static, like crazy, just losing it, what if instead we mentally and emotionally approached things in a way that made it so that we could focus our energy? If so, imagine the kind of sparks that we could start off in our life. Sparks just based on focus, sparks of starting new goals, being able to shape our life in amazing ways, and even getting to shape and kind of create positive change for the whole world. So that's the idea that I'd like to keep in the back of the mind, as if we're stretching and moving and working through all sorts of different things. What if we were also helping to learn how to gain focus so that our energy can be maintained and consciously driven toward different goals? So that'll be the idea that's in the back of our mind. So with that to lead us on, let's take some of our initial stretches. Arms can go all the way to the back wall. Let's take a couple of chances to stretch right and left. It's a couple of really good times going back and forth to each direction. Then right back through the center, let's hug around the right knee. We're giving it a few ankle rolls. When you're ready, begin to stretch that right leg up to the sky. And just kind of imagine, this is our first chance to really tune into the hamstrings, into the calves, into the foot, all those areas of the root chakra. So imagine, what if we're kind of washing our body over with this stretch in a way that our energy is much less staticky, much more kind of like a, I don't know, a plasma field around us, just that beautiful glow that's just constant, and we are able to focus it. So another good breath in. Exhale, let's hook this right foot all the way on that back left edge like the previous pose. Slide that shin in toward the heart. Our first chance to really tune in with that hip. Giving it a couple of really good breaths. Taking another good cycle of breath in. And exhale, free out the leg. Drop it all the way down. Second knee into the chest, a few ankle rolls. When you're ready for leg to stretch up to the sky, let it extend. Then hooking the ankle, slide the shin in. Couple of breaths. Another good inhale. Exhale, let's allow this leg to stretch up to the sky. And drop it down. From here, beginning to kick the feet free off the front. Let's rise up to a seated place. Keeping our thumbs on the back edge of the fabric, we're gonna head to our inversion right away. Lean halfway back, gripping on, and then just wrap the legs around the fabric as you're heading backwards. This can be an amazing chance to do some core work. You can take your right hand and try to crunch up to touch your left ankle. The left hand to touch the right ankle. And going back and forth. You choose how long feels good. You could always take breaks to just hang. Maybe adding a few more, whatever you like. Here, we're going to keep the toes wrapped and then do a huge crunch up to try to grab onto the fabric above the feet. Once you've got that fabric, bend the knees together. You can even get the fabric over the knees. Yeah, so to cover the knees, sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
they were.
Yes, they were there.
Sorry.
Good. And then bending knees together, continue to walk the hands up until you're all the way up, kind of kneeling down. Good. So, you're doing opposite of me. So take your left shoulder forward and then grip above the head on that left side. Then swivel the legs like a little pinwheel. Good. Doing a little bit of arm strengthening for the fabric that's now in front of you. Push into it, and then try to do the negative by just resisting the way back. So push, and then resist the way back. Like doing a negative push-up instead of doing the full thing down. Just kind of resisting it back. So 3 more. 2. 1. And then grip up high on both. Switch the pinwheel to the other side. And the new fabric that's in front of you, push and resist it back. Three, 2, 1. Good, gripping high on each side and low back forward. From here, kind of pointing the toes together, you can take a little back bend. You choose how deep and how long you're there. The moment when it feels like you need to come back, swivel your hips back inside. I'll kind of wait till some of us start to get there, so just enjoy it. That is like a seat once you're back inside. Good. So no rush if you're still enjoying that, but when you're ready to go back, you just simply bend the knees back, coming back where we were, and then releasing the hands. We're back to catching at the ankles. We're back where we started. Good. You can spend some more time if you want to be upside down. You can spend some more time doing crunches. This is up to you, just to enjoy a little bit longer here. Out or all the way up. Okay, so go ahead and release the toes. Good. And then reset your grip. So grab on the inner thigh. Yeah. Inner, like right, yeah, just like that, and then that, and then unwind the toes. And then look up. Good. You got it. Those that still want to freeform, invert, whatever, upside down, you're absolutely welcome to keep on exploring. If we're up, give it just 2 or 3 more breaths to make sure the blood pressure is good. So maybe we're rocking around on the head, just rolling it left and right a few times. If we feel like we're back to a good spot, we'll be making our way back up to sit. I want to do just a couple of our leg stretches deeper inside the fabric. So bunch up the fabric to the side that faces you toward me. You'll lock your arms straight. Get the leg that just got hiked up. Get that one up and over. Good. And then both legs inside. Making sure toes are covered. So if you find a lot more fabric on one side than the other, the way that you can readjust is gripping up high. You'll lift the hips up and then you can kind of straighten the legs to scoot some of the fabric over until it looks like you're more or less even. Whenever you're there, arm strength pushes outward, getting us to a nice stretch. Core strength lifts our spine tall. Let's take just a moment to slide the right hand down the right leg, left hand up and over. Make sure the other leg doesn't just flop in. We're trying to actively keep it open. Good. So torso rises. Let's switch sides. Reach up and over. Good. And then rise. Once again, make sure your toes are all the way inside, and we'll come up to stand. So slide your heels in close. The knees can pop out of each side. Once we've got the knees out, you'll grip up high, swivel the feet underneath you for a low squat. Yeah, your knees are still inside right now. Make sure they pop out. Good. Yeah, you got it. Make sure your head's not caught. Good. So from here, reach up high, come all the way up to stand. We're gonna turn to the mirror side. So whatever shoulder takes you inside, you're gonna grip from the inside today. So this line that connects up to your foot, grab onto that front end right there. And then begin to send one leg forward, the other leg back. Notice all the areas of your body that are particularly tight here. Imagine that it's like we're helping those areas to be able to focus the energy a bit better. You can hold maybe another breath or two. Whenever you want to drop onto the back knee, you're welcome to do so. At the point that you drop the back knee down, you can either slide the hands down for an easy half split, or slide the hands up to send the legs away from one another, another kind of splits option. Good. Hitting your way back up through the middle for a moment. The front knee can swivel out to the side, pigeon. Send the front leg forward, back leg back. Maybe the shoulder that's closer to the toes squeeze its way out. Go back to the start by sitting on that front hip and then swiveling the legs back open to the wide figure V sitting shape. Good. From here, we prepare to stand, so make sure the feet are still good. Then slide the heels in close to the glutes. Pop the knees out. Come to the low squat. When you're there, reach up high, all the way up to stand. We're gripping on the inside of the fabric, this time turning to the opposite direction. Send front leg forward, back leg back. I'll usually hold this maybe 4 or 5 breaths total before I drop the back knee down. It's like a really intense opening. Good. Eventually lowering to the back knee. You can either take the half split, sliding hands down, or sliding hands up. Keep the weight going forward perhaps. And taking that pigeon, we'll swivel the front leg in, send the front knee to this back wall, the back leg back. Maybe the shoulder that's closer to the toes squeeze its way out. More good breaths. And we'll sit our way onto the front hip, swivel the legs back open. Once we're there, let both feet kick off the ends of the fabric. We'll fold ourselves up like a taco. So one hand pushes into the fabric directly in front of your face. That's where our feet will go. So then grab one foot and place it into that spot you just formed. Second foot comes up next to the first. And then continue to slide the legs upward, that nice stretch. Right? Okay, you can extend out and kind of push into the fabric, and that'll stop. Yeah. So kind of grab behind you and kind of push your feet in and straighten everything. Yeah, there you go. You're slowing down. Good. Yeah, eventually your body starts to just know how to get into things without rocking so crazy. But it's all good. It happens to everybody. It's nice in this one because the more you relax, the deeper we get into some of the muscles that maybe were previously resisting. For some of us, maybe hamstrings is our big focus, so we just want to stay here for a bit longer. If anybody wants to swivel open into cobbler, you can slide your feet closer in. Good. So taking another beautiful inhale. And exhale. We'll start to bring our legs to the front. Shift left and right to center the hips. As we go in toward our vampire pose today, we're going to do our splits practices. And then after we finish those, you'll have freedom to just hang out in vampire or any other variations you want. So you'll start to take the fabric right up to your shoulders, just one good thin layer. All the excess is brought down to the feet. Once you've made it to that point, you'll want right foot to stay inside of the fabric and left foot can come free of the fabric. Just like that. So one foot in the little pocket, one foot out of the pocket. Good. Once we're there, hands grip up, a nice tight grab. Make sure you still have enough on the shoulders. So then when you bring your legs up, push out to do the normal rise up to vampire. Once you're there, your right leg is inside the fabric, so bring that one down in front of your chest, all the way until the toes are touching the fabric down. You're able to grip off of it. So once you've got that good safe grip, then the left foot can step all the way to the floor. Good. Got it? Kind of fun. You're safe, you can make it. Oh, your shoulder. Yeah. Your shoulder. Yeah, always make sure that shoulder's good. When you do make it there sooner or later, just kind of relax your weight backwards into the splits. There you go. If it's enough that you can still roll in, that's fine. You can kind of come up to stand and readjust it, but you just want to make sure you don't lose the other one. You could also come all the way out and just come back into set and just start moving it. That's fine too. Those of us that have been in this side for a while, feel free to step left foot into the little pocket and then right foot down. That way you can get the second side into the stretch. You could also roll all the way inside and just do the complete switch of your legs. Good. Yep. Take every step to go inside. Yeah. So leave it out. Yep. So grab an extra grip so that way you end up much ready for that. Oh no. It's all good. Take your time. Sooner or later, when it feels like this side has been stretched equally, you can continue to play with the splits going back and forth. You could play with like a cow pose, just hips over shoulders. You could play with vampire. I'll give you that freedom. That's all I'll guide you through when you get there. Perfect. There's enough for shoulders. Good. Legs have a little pocket. Perfect. Grip up just like that. Feet come up. Raise upside down. Just like that. All the way down until you can touch it. That's it. Yeah, sometimes it's best just to readjust and it's all good. So if you start to push into your toes, that'll start to lift your hips up. So, yep, just like that. It's okay, yep, that's fine. And then step the other foot in. Out. Good. This one's fun sometimes to do that full roll, even just for the core. Like go all the way down, use the core to come up. Go all the way down, use the core to come up. So we'll begin to head our way out. If you're doing any variations that or one side at a time. Make sure both sides are in balance. And then eventually you'll head to the Shavasana. You'll enjoy the Shavasana until your body says, okay, I think I'm ready to sit up. And then you'll start to head toward that direction. Because basically this is your way of letting me know how you're doing in the recovery. So no rush, just enjoy the recovery for a little bit. Your body will know when it's happy, when it's doing okay. It's a good way we communicate with each other. If you're out sooner than others, you're welcome to take a little twist to one side and then twist to the other side. Enjoying a nice little movement for the spine. Good. So if our body still needs to rest and recover, just enjoy this spot a little bit longer. If you feel like you're doing pretty good, what you're going to do is bunch up the fabric nice and tight in each hand. We're going to take 3 cycles where we lift the legs up and we try not to do the full lift, but just go far enough that you know that you have the control. Then you'll try to lower the toes back down. So 3 of those before we actually do a full lift. Legs up and over. Then legs return down, but the torso can kind of stay. Good. Lifting for 2. And 1. And then this last time, if you feel good to do this, you'll do the full flip all the way until the toes are on the ground. Good. You're there. Sooner than you can take the fabric in front of you. Good. You can shake your hands out if needed. Then we'll take the fabric right in front of us. So start off with a 90-degree bend at the waist. From here, right leg slides back, warrior 3. Just feel the balance challenge shifting between warrior 3 and then taking that right knee to the nose. Looking back, 5. And up. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Plant the right foot down. And end up with that 90-degree bend. Left leg slides back. And knee to the nose. Take back. Here's 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And land. Good. So from here, fabric back behind us. We're going to do kind of a fun little flip thing. So you're going to circle the hands around the chest area and circle around that way. Do it twice before you grip, but you don't have to necessarily reach it super high. That'll make it so that you have to work more. So I kind of slide it a little bit closer to my shoulders to do that grip. Good. Once I'm there, I'm going to use my core strength to rise up and catch the fabric, wrapping my toes around. Once I'm going to full wrap around, then I can take a bow pose, a good back bend. This one does depend on grip strength. So you'll just come out either way, forward or backward, when your grip strength needs it. Go. Yep. Let me just shake my hands out for a second. Okay. And you're welcome to come up into it and out of it a couple of times as needed. So I've done the grip. I do a kind of like an explosion to bring my legs around. I'm gripping. And then you just, with the toe wrap, you're able to get the bow pose. Just drop down. Yep, you got it. You're welcome to do 3 or 4. Take a little break for your fingers when they need it. And now kind of thin. No, it feels so awkward. It's like T-Rex arms, but once you're there, it feels better. Try again. We're good. Okay. Go ahead. If you were wanting to try again, Alicia, go ahead. When you're happy, go ahead and lay back. Just take a couple of breaths, just leaning back. You can even kind of sway left and right. I'm gonna go ahead and kick that heat off so that way we're not like killing ourselves. We don't need to do hot aerial yoga. So, if we're feeling like we're pretty good here, we're going to head to our straddle back inversion. We're going to create a whole sequence off of that. So the thumbs are gripping on to help keep the fabric right across your sacrum. So you've got pressure so it doesn't slide up. One foot steps back so that you can bend the knees to lean into the fabric. That locks it in place. 2 or 3 baby steps forward, and then once you're in the front line, knees go wide, grab the toes. Let the spine have a couple of breaths, just being upside down. The sequence starts from leaving the right ankle wrapped exactly as it is. The left leg, straighten it out to the side. Rotate around the hip socket so the toes are behind you, and then bend the knee. This is our chandelier. You could try one or both arms grabbing onto those toes if you like. If you're pulling the toes in, that's a quad stretch. If you're pushing the toes into the hand, that's more of a back bend. So you can choose. I'll take just a couple more breaths right here. Then releasing the hands, leave the legs exactly as they are. Gaze up toward the belly, find the fabric, walking up even past the toes. Just give your head a chance to kind of take a couple of breaths. We've still got the foot hooked. So at some point your head will say, okay, I think I'm good. I think I can stand. So what you'll do is squeeze the knee to the midline and then tilt forward until you're standing on the other foot. Good. So what I personally like to do, we're gonna end up stretching that leg out, but I like to get the leg higher. So if you also want to go higher, you're gonna shift some fabric into your left hand. So kind of slide it until that left arm can lock some of the fabric straight out. So if you're in a good spot and you don't need the extra, that's okay, you don't have to. Once you're here, you could either muscularly straighten the leg or grab onto the toes and straighten the leg out. Or shin, ankle, whatever you can grab. That's fine too. You're like, I just changed something. Good. So what we'll do from here, let that knee bend again. Send the fabric around your back. It ends up in front of you. And we're set up for warrior one. So sink your weight forward. Shifting to warrior two, grab onto left side and then rotate the toes to the left. Maybe one arm goes forward, the other arm backward. Just opening up like warrior two arms. And grabbing on, bring your weight over your standing leg. Slip the fabric to the ankle. Once you're there, on that further left strand, slide the right hand down and the left hand up. We're still facing toward that back door. You can stay where you are, that's a good triangle pose, or you could sink your weight forward to make it more like a side split. It's up to you. Beautiful. So from here, bringing your weight back over your standing leg. We're going to continue to face away from me. So catch the ankle, turn the knee down. We'll take a dancer's pose, so grip over each shoulder. And then point the elbows to the back wall. That helps to make sure the shoulders are really engaged. So from there, lean forward and then kick the foot into the fabric to create the lift. Beautiful. Rising back up. From here, drop the hands to the ground. Straighten the legs and walk the hands back to a nice split. Good. Now walk the hands all the way to that back side of the mat. The foot that's on the ground, step into the fabric for plank. You could play with knees coming in and out. It's kind of at your own pace. Take however many cycles your core knows that you can handle. Your breath is still in good control. The moment when you're ready to be down, you'll just drop that left knee to a nice pigeon. Nice and soft to the ground. Even going down to elbows. Let's slide this leg out. If you want to take a child pose or a down dog to help the hip recover, you're welcome to take a moment there. Sooner or later, when everything feels good, we'll come back up to stand for the second side. No rush if you know that you need it. Good, so we start off with straddle back. When you're there, fabric across the hips. One foot steps back, tiptoe until you're under palm line. That'll just make it so you don't rock like crazy. The knees wide, wrap the ankles. Hang for a few breaths. This time, leave the left ankle, right leg straightens out. Rotate it all the way behind you. Once it's behind, bend the knee. Maybe one or both hands grabs on. One thing I love about this is that shoulder opener you get, just pulling those pecs open. Two more breaths. And release the hands. The legs stay exactly as they are, but grip up onto the fabric, walking up past the toes. Hold on for a moment so the head can have a break. When you feel safe to stand, squeeze the knee in and then tilt forward to stand. If you want to shift some weight into the right arm, that'll make the leg lift higher. And then you're welcome to muscularly straighten the leg or grab on to help it extend. Another good inhale. And exhale, let it bend. Send the fabric all the way to the front. Maybe a small hop back to take warrior one. Sink your weight forward. Grabbing onto right side, rotate open to warrior two. Maybe arms open also. Grab on, weight comes over standing leg, slip down to ankle. Once you're there on this farther strand, slide left hand down, right hand up. Maybe splits forward. Good. Return back. You turn all the way to face the back wall. Grip one hand over each shoulder. You're engaging the shoulders, so point the elbows forward. And then lean forward. Kick the foot into the fabric to create the back bend of the lift. Good. Rising back up. Splits. Hands go to the floor. Straighten both legs, walk the hands backwards. Good. Walk the hands all the way to the back edge. If you can safely step this foot into the fabric, perhaps this time you go back and forth between plank and a pike, lifting the hips right over the shoulders. Couple of rounds of that, engaging the core really nicely. If you can hold the pike really strongly, you could play with trying to reach one leg up to the sky, balancing there for a moment, then finding the fabric, switch it out. Again, it'll be playing with this until you're ready for right leg down this time. You're ready to drop the leg out. You can do in the recovery, child or down dog. This is the point at which, if there's any last things your body knows that it needs, any last stretches, conversion, anything like that, you're welcome to explore it. At some point, you're welcome to go to Shavasana. So this would be more or less the time for Shavasana normally, but it's fun exploring if there's last things you know that would be helpful for your system. here, we'll gradually allow ourselves to come back to our bodies. Perhaps just start off with a couple of really good deep breaths. Want to add some stretches, maybe stretch the arms to the back wall, let the shoulders go right and left a few times. Or maybe others will take a nice fetal position to one side, letting the body curl in and arc back. During that position, maybe do 2 or 3 to each side so that way the spine is evened out. Sooner or later, when you're ready to come back up to sit, you're welcome to make your way up. And as we join our hands together in front of the heart, imagine you could check in with what you imagine maybe your aura might look like, if you had one. Imagine maybe what color it is. Imagine how big it is. Imagine what kind of shape or texture it takes on, and has that shifted since we checked in at the beginning of class? Perhaps we've come to that state where it's almost like this magnifying glass, where all it needs is for our consciousness to focus on something, and that energy would create that spark, that fire for our life to help us to create amazing changes, transformations in our existence. So with this type of focus of our energy to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, and happiness, and peace. Namaste.